when you look up at the night sky, you probably think, oh, there's Mars, or that's Jupiter, or I can see the constellation Orion. We all know those names, they're super familiar, but have you ever really stopped and asked, where did those names come from? Well, let's dive into that, because today we're going to explore a completely different way of seeing the cosmos, a perspective that reframes, well, everything. So on one hand, you've got this Greco-Roman lens that, let's be honest, we've all pretty much inherited. We see that little reddish dot up there, and we call it Mars, after the god of war. But if you look at it through the biblical lens, that same object isn't a god at all. It's simply a light, a created thing with a specific job to do. And see, this is a huge deal. It's not just a different name. From this viewpoint, naming the stars and planets after gods is basically a form of idolatry because it confuses the thing that was made with the one who made it. So how does it do this? Well, the Bible uses its own very specific vocabulary, and it's a really deliberate choice of words designed to shift our focus away from worshiping the heavens themselves and instead get us to understand their true purpose and the one who put them there. It all kicks off with this one word, shamayim. That's the Hebrew for the heavens. And it doesn't just mean the sky above our heads. It's an all-encompassing term for the entire celestial realm. What's really significant is that it's one of the very first words in the Bible. Genesis 1:1, right? In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Boom. Right from the get-go, it establishes that a single creator is responsible for the whole cosmic shebang. Okay, so what about the things we call planets? Well, the Bible uses the word ma'or, which simply means lights or luminaries. Just think about that for a second. By calling them lights, the text completely strips them of any divine personality. Their entire identity is tied directly to their function, to what they do, not to some mythological story. They're basically tools, not God. And for all those countless other points of light, the Bible just uses the general term kokav, which means stars. Now look, the ancient world didn't have telescopes to distinguish between stars and planets like we do, but they were sharp observers. They absolutely noticed that some of these stars moved differently, that they seemed to wander across the sky. And this is where it gets super interesting. The Greek word for wanderer is planetes, which, sound familiar? It's where we get our word planet. And check this out. Here in the New Testament, that same word is used as a metaphor to describe false teachers who, you guessed it, wander from the truth. So the observation of wandering is totally there, but it's used to describe human behavior, not to make a celestial body into a god. The focus stays on function and observation. Okay, so if they aren't gods, then what are they for? I mean, what's their job? The Genesis account gives these lights a very clear three-part job description that's both super practical and at the same time deeply theological. All right, job one, to give light. Simple enough, but it's the most fundamental purpose, right? The sun governs the day, the moon governs the night, and they provide the light that's essential for all life. Job two, to mark time. They're basically a giant universal calendar in the sky, God's clock, setting the rhythm for our days, our years, our agricultural seasons, and even our sacred festivals. And third, their theological function, to serve as signs. Now, this is way more than just keeping time. They act as a constant, silent declaration of the Creator's glory. They're used to confirm divine promises, and they can even serve as markers for significant prophetic events in history. And all of this builds to what is really the climax of this whole perspective. It's this powerful, powerful contrast between our limited human attempts to understand the cosmos and the Creator's total sovereign knowledge over all of it. I mean, just stop and think about it for a second. How many stars can we as humanity actually name? A few thousand? Maybe? Most of us know the names of a couple dozen constellations and planets if we're lucky. It's really just a tiny fraction of what's out there. And that's the crucial point. Humanity has managed to name a handful of prominent objects, usually after our own myths and heroes. But the biblical claim is that the Creator knows and names every single one of the billions upon billions of stars in the entire universe. This verse from Psalm 147 is just staggering when you really stop and think about it. It's not just about knowing a number, which would be impressive enough on its own. It's about a personal, individual assignment of a name to every single star. So what does that even imply? Well, the implications are just immense. It points to a kind of infinite knowledge that is way beyond what our minds can comprehend. It suggests absolute sovereignty, that every single star is accounted for and under command.
And finally, it implies a profound intimacy. Because the theological argument is this: if the Creator cares for each star with that level of detail, how much more does He care for us?
So what's the big takeaway from all of this? It's really a complete shift in perspective. It's about looking at the same night sky we've always looked at, but seeing something entirely different. Here's the bottom line. From the biblical perspective, the heavens are not some theater for the soap operas of ancient gods. Instead, the entire cosmos is like a grand, silent, magnificent declaration. It's a testament to the power, the artistry, and the faithfulness of the one Creator who made it all. Its purpose isn't to be worshipped, but to point beyond itself. So I'll just leave you with this question to think about. What changes for you when you see the sky not as a map of myths, but as a message? When every star is seen not as some distant god, but as a personally named object in a grand design. It's a thought that can definitely change how you look up at the night sky.
Thanks for watching. Visit our website www.christthelivingtruth.com to learn more.